In 1964, Japan launched the Shinkansen, demonstrating that millions of passengers could move between major cities at over 300 kilometers per hour. France followed soon after, spending decades perfecting the TGV to anchor a high-speed network across Europe. More recently, China constructed the world's largest high-speed rail network, laying thousands of miles of track in just a few years. By contrast, the United States remains stalled. This lack of progress persists despite the fact that America controls some of the world's largest infrastructure budgets and employs world-class engineering talent. The technical knowledge required to build these trains has existed in the U.S. for decades, yet major projects consistently struggle to reach completion. Understanding this stagnation requires looking past the tracks and investigating the specific legal and administrative processes that determine how American infrastructure is planned and approved. The roots of this divergence go back to the 1960s, when the United States made a massive, multi-generational commitment to the interstate highway system. Parallel investments in aviation made air travel the default choice for long-distance speed, further moving the country away from a centralized rail model. These choices created a decentralized governance system that allows for significant local control, but often conflicts with the requirements of a national rail network. A modern high-speed line requires hundreds of miles of contiguous land, often cutting through thousands of separate private properties, farms, and local jurisdictions. This creates bureaucratic friction. A single project is often fragmented by a maze of competing federal, state, and local approvals, environmental reviews, and legal challenges. This system was built to provide checks and balances, ensuring that local communities have a voice in what happens to their land. However, that same oversight can turn a decades-long infrastructure project into a war of attrition, where execution becomes nearly impossible. The most significant cost of this friction is time. This diagram shows the inflation loop. When a project is delayed by litigation or reviews, the price of steel, concrete, and labor rises. Higher costs attract more political scrutiny, which causes more delays, creating a cycle that triples a budget before construction even begins. The California High-Speed Rail Project serves as the primary example of this institutional spiral. Voters initially approved a plan to connect major cities with a system that would lower emissions and provide a viable alternative to short-haul flights. In practice, however, the project faced a decade of funding uncertainties, land acquisition failures, and relentless legal disputes. California illustrates how the engineering requirements of a project can be eclipsed by the immense complexity of its own governance and legal oversight. Other nations achieve faster results through different institutional trade-offs, as seen here in the development of the German ICE network. These countries often utilize centralized planning processes that can bypass local objections more efficiently to prioritize national infrastructure goals. In the United States, the legal priority remains on local accountability and environmental review, even when those processes prevent the project from finishing. The difficulty of completing these rail lines raises broader questions about the country's ability to build at scale. The same administrative hurdles that slow down trains are now impacting the modernization of power grids, water systems, and bridges across the country. Infrastructure forms the foundation of a nation's economic competitiveness. When these foundational systems stagnate, the long-term efficiency of the entire economy is at risk. The success of future development depends on reconciling public oversight with the need for executive efficiency. Until these administrative systems are modernized, the nation's largest infrastructure ambitions will likely remain confined to paper.